Expect your yearly smartphone upgrade to include a few significant changes over last year's model. This year's iPhone refresh may disappoint. If you're upgrading from a much older device, the new iPhone 8 is a much more compelling prospect. But don't be surprised to be tripped up by a few of Apple's mistakes along the way. The iPhone 8 is a great smartphone, but it's not without its share of unrealized potential. The iPhone 8 looks just like an iPhone 7, almost. The big change this year is the addition of a glass panel on the back, mimicking the shiny front of the 4.7-inch touchscreen. The change was made to accommodate one of the iPhone 8's new features, wireless charging. Being glass, the back panel is as prone to breaking as your screen is. It's also a feature of the upcoming iPhone X. In terms of size, the iPhone 8 is virtually identical to the model that came before it, and the biggest difference you'll notice here is an extra 10 grams of weight. That might not sound like much, but I feel like the balance of the device has shifted more towards the top end this time round. Fortunately, it still feels really good in the hand. Everything is where you'd expect it, from the Touch ID home button to the single lens camera on the back. It's still a pleasing design, but you'd be forgiven for finding it a bit boring at this stage. If you want something radically different, you'll have to wait for the iPhone X, which arrives in November. The more you use it, the more it feels like an iPhone 7s than a true generational leap. The biggest upgrade comes in the form of a new A11 Bionic system on chip, which powers through any task you throw at it. Apple touts the usual 30 to 70% improvement in CPU and GPU power, which in terms of user experience means a silky smooth performance and improved multitasking. Coming from an iPhone 7, you aren't going to notice a huge bump in performance, if any. iPhone 6s and earlier users should see some improvement, but even the A9 chip found in those older devices provides good performance nearly 2 years on. Wireless charging finally makes its debut on the iPhone. Unfortunately, Apple provides no wireless charging pad in the box, and its own AirPad charger won't be released until next year. You'll need to invest in your own third-party hardware to get any use from the feature for now. Fast charging has also been added to the iPhone 8, but just like wireless charging, there's no way to make use of it out of the box. Again, this means you'll need to cough up more money to see any advantage. Coupled with a compatible adapter and cable, the iPhone 8 can reach a 50% charge within 30 minutes. Apple recommends its own $25 USB-C to Lightning cable and the 29-watt Apple USB wall adapter at a total cost of $75. Most other smartphones that come with this feature include the necessary peripherals in the box. This is disappointing, to say the least. The iPhone 8 display has been improved with Apple's True Tone technology, which balances whites for the ambient temperature of the room. It works well, but it's arguably less useful than its iPad Pro implementation, since you're unlikely to be staring at your iPhone for quite as long. While the iPhone 8 includes the same optics as the iPhone 7, 12 megapixels at f1.8 on the back, 7 megapixels at f2.2 on the front, the new A11 Bionic chip provides faster low-light focusing, better noise reduction, and improved pixel processing. Overall, images are better than last year's model thanks to some of the software wizardry we've seen in Google's recent devices. Even more impressive than that is the inclusion of 4K video at 60 frames per second. Many high-end mirrorless cameras don't include the feature, and those that do cost well over $2,000. It's not going to bring the house down, but it's a testament to the power of the A11. And then there's the usual list of small improvements, like 25% louder speakers, the new Bluetooth 5.0 standard, and a starting capacity of 64GB. That comes at a price though, with the iPhone 8 costing $50 more than last year's base model and only coming in 64 and 256GB configurations. Touch ID is still present, which is great if you're not crazy about the facial recognition on the upcoming iPhone X. Is it possible that this is the last time we'll see a fingerprint scanner on an iPhone? Time will tell. Everything else is business as usual. There's no huge battery life gains, dust and weatherproofing remains the same, and it's made from the same tough aluminium as the iPhone 7. iOS 11 is new as of last month, but you've probably already got it on your old smartphone by now. And so, it's remarkably easy to assess whether or not you should buy the iPhone 8 without ever picking one up or seeing one. It's also why our review score is largely worthless, and I'd suggest that you consider the state of your current hardware more than an arbitrary number. From a reviewer's standpoint, this creates a dilemma. Just because the iPhone 8 isn't a significant leap over last year's model, that doesn't make it a bad device. It also doesn't make it a bad buy. But, as a new device, and one that many expect will include significant changes to make their purchase worthwhile, there's no denying that it falls short. The unrealized potential of wireless and fast charging further let the iPhone 8 down. Much of this is likely due to the iPhone X being Apple's vision of the future, but that technology will cost you an extra $300. So while the iPhone 8 is a recommended device, it's not a great buy for everyone. To read our full review, head to MakeUseOf.com.